Coupe SUVs. Pretty much every luxury auto manufacturer has at least one in their lineup. But are they just a fashion statement, or are they something you should actually consider, like this 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLE 63S AMG Coupe? Whew, quite a mouthful. So let's go for a drive and find out. Actually, before we go for a drive, I want to give a huge thanks to Drive Marketing Group for lending me this amazing studio. If you want to know what Drive Marketing Group can do for your business, or if you're in the Metro Vancouver area and you want to rent this studio, check out the video description for a link to their website. Now, let's go for a drive. So I'm sure you already know what's under the hood of this GLE 63S AMG. It's a V8. Well, a twin turbocharged V8 to be more specific, or bi-turbo as Mercedes-Benz likes to call it. It produces 603 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque. However, it has a little bit of assist from a mild hybrid system, if you can even call it a hybrid system. It's a 48-volt electric assist. This 48-volt mild hybrid system produces an additional 21 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque for brief periods at a time when the engine really needs it. Normally, I've only seen this happen usually when I put my foot down or when I'm just accelerating from a stop at a more brisk rate. But a few other added benefits of this 48-volt EQ hybrid system is the fact that it A, improves fuel economy, and B, makes for a very smooth auto start stop system. Actually, on the auto start stop, it'll shut off the engine right before you actually arrive at a complete stop. Because of the added benefits of the EQ Boost hybrid system and cylinder deactivation, the Mercedes-Benz GLE 63S AMG Coupe is rated for 12.8 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway and 16.3 liters per 100 kilometers in a city. And speaking of fuel economy, I'm averaging around 14.2 liters per 100 kilometers at the moment, which is actually not too bad for an SUV that weighs around 2.5 tons. Compared to the BMW X5M competition that I had a few months ago, that one I think I was averaging around 17 liters per 100 kilometers. But of course, it's the engine that's the big highlight of this car, because as soon as you put your foot down, you reach illegal speed limits like that, pretty much. Mercedes-Benz claim a 0 to 100 kilometers an hour or 62 miles an hour time of 3.8 seconds. And like I said, despite this SUV weighing 2.5 tons, I really believe that 3.8 second claim. In fact, I'm pretty sure it can probably even get a little bit lower than that, maybe 3.7 or 3.6 under the most ideal conditions. Because 627 pound-feet of torque, 325 wide rear tires with 285 wides on the front, and a 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive system. So this thing launches really hard from a stop. Paired with this engine is a 9-speed automatic transmission. If you're in comfort mode, you're not going to feel those shifts if you're gentle on the throttle, because they are very, very smooth and fast. However, if you're more aggressive with the throttle pedal, or if you decide to take over shifting duties with the paddle shifters on the steering wheel, then predictably the shifts are much more noticeable, but they are still lightning quick. Stopping this beast of an SUV are 400mm diameter front disc brakes with 6-piston fixed calipers. That's 15.7 inches of brake disc. For everyday driving situations, the brake pedal doesn't need much force from your foot. In fact, coming to a smooth stop can be a bit of a challenge if you have a heavy foot, as the brakes tend to be a bit grabby just before completely stopping. At higher speeds, the brakes feel solid with a firm and confidence-inspiring brake pedal. If you want more braking performance, the GLE 63S AMG is available with carbon ceramic brake discs for $6,900 Canadian. One other thing that really impresses me about this GLE 63 are the dampers. Yes, you sit very high up, so you have very good visibility all around you, well, apart from the back, which looking through the rearview mirror, it looks like as though I'm looking through a mail slot. But anyway, up ahead, you have very good visibility, and like I said, you do sit high up, but it doesn't feel like you're driving on stilts. Take this car around a few corners and it feels more like you're in a sports sedan. The adaptive dampers do a fabulous job of keeping the body settled as you drive over bumps or road undulations. It's also very noticeable of how much less body roll there is between the dampers at their softest setting and when they're in their stiffest setting. This GLE has variable steering, so in comfort mode, you don't have to give it a whole lot of input to just keep driving in a straight line, which makes it great for highway driving. But switch it to Sport Plus or race mode, and the steering is unbelievably quick. Furthermore, the 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive system uses torque vectoring to rotate the GLE Coupe through turns and corner exits. You can really feel this system working around tight hairpin corners, even in the dry. Sitting inside the GLE Coupe, it's the back seats where you notice the biggest difference compared to the standard GLE. But before we get to that, up in the front, it's business as usual. 6'4" of me has absolutely no issue with legroom and headroom. There's plenty of it. These seats are also heated and ventilated. Speaking of which, the armrests are also heated. So when you turn on the heated seats, those also turn on. A nice feature. They are also massaging, and they have multiple adjustments with the lumbar, the bolsters, and the thigh support. Now, in the back, the wheelbase is actually a little bit shorter on the GLE Coupe compared to the standard GLE. And as a result, I have an okay amount of legroom back here behind my own driving position, but it's not as much as I had in the standard GLE. And it's the same story with headroom. There is an indentation here for your head behind the sunroof, but I can still feel my hair just gently brushing up against the very side here of the roof. As well, I don't know if you can tell from the camera, it is quite dark back here, although I suspect that's mainly due to the fact that it's black headliner and black leather, so not quite as much light in here. As for the elephant outside the room, trunk space is not quite what I expected in the GLE 63 Coupe, because on paper, this actually has more cargo volume with the rear seats up than the standard GLE. 655 liters for this, 630 liters for the standard GLE. But fold those rear seats down and the standard GLE actually has more cargo volume, about 250 liters more than this one. But for both of them, you have to go around to the side to lower those seats because there are no latches inside the trunk area to lower the seats. But there is a little button for lowering the back end, making it easier to load stuff in and out. However, one thing to note, as you can probably tell, I'm 6'4" and I've bonked my head up against this quite a few times now. If you're shorter, I don't think it'll be that bad for you, but for taller adults, be aware. When out on the roads, the ride is pretty good when the SUV is in comfort mode thanks to the air suspension. Even with these 22-inch wheels, daily commutes on city streets are a breeze. Plus, don't forget about the massaging seats as well. However, what you can't get away from is the noise coming from those 22-inch wheels and tires. The faster you go, the more road noise intrudes into the cabin from those wide tires. Thankfully, you can always open up the valved exhaust and listen to the engine instead. The 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLE 63 S AMG Coupe starts at $135,300 Canadian. For that kind of price, you'd expect it to be fully loaded. But this being just like a BMW, it has a few packages and standalone options that can be added to it. Just highlighting a few of them, the GLE 63 can be equipped with heated and chilled cup holders, heated door and center console armrests, a built-in dash cam, soft closed doors, a cabin fragrance system, head-up display, and the aforementioned massaging seats and carbon ceramic brakes. Inside the GLE, it looks like how a six-figure SUV should look like. The quality of the materials is top-notch, including the soft leather, real carbon fiber, and real aluminum. The ambient lighting system is one of the best in the business. It's not as over-the-top like its GLA and GLB brothers, but it still looks stunning at night. As for the outside, the idea with a coupe SUV is to have the good looks of a coupe car, but with the height and utility of an SUV. You definitely get the height and some of the practicality, but to me, the coupe body on something so big doesn't really work. It's disproportionate somehow. Mind you, it definitely looks better as an AMG 63 with the larger wheels and more pronounced bumper design. I don't think it would look as good if it were a GLE 450 or 350, which is why the GLE Coupe is only available as a 53 AMG or a 63 AMG. But regardless, I would personally go for the regular GLE if only looks were involved. And that brings me to the conclusion. I understand the appeal of coupe SUVs. They offer a tall driving position, more practicality than a coupe car, and have more unique and head-turning looks than a traditional SUV design. But if you're looking to buy an SUV in the first place, it usually means that you're looking for a practical vehicle. A normal SUV offers more practicality than this coupe SUV. So logically, a normal SUV is the better choice. But how often do we make the logical choice when buying a new vehicle? Anyway, if you want to know more about this Mercedes-Benz GLE 63S AMG Coupe, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.